Hello, Virgos. Welcome to our monthly zodiac reading for the month of July 2025. We have a lot to discuss this month, so let's get started. As always, we're going to pull an overall energy theme. We'll pull tarot for each week, clarify that with more tarot, discuss the astrological transits, and wrap it up with some additional oracle guidance. So let's see what Virgo energy needs to know for the month of July. You guys got two cards. Bring love into the situation and a time for healing. This feels like self-love. This feels like self-love. There's not a lot actually happening in your particular sign. But there's a lot happening in Leo, which is going to be your 12th house, which is your house of isolation, mental health, subconscious spirituality. There's a lot happening there, and then there's also going to be a lot happening in your 8th house. So actually these two houses are actually considered karmic houses, and it may be that the energy for you guys this month feels, what's being activated feels very, very tumultuous. It can just feel very rocky, maybe unsteady. Maybe there's a lot of fear that's coming up for you this month. But overall, bring love into the situation. Remember that you are divinely loved and guided, and that this is a time for healing, especially with your 12th and 8th house being activated. Let's see. Already did that. Let's see what the tarot has to say for you guys. Here in the first week, the King of Pentacles, very, very nice. Here in the second week, the Star, more healing energy. I apologize for that. Here in the third week, Strength, two major arcana, and the 10 of Swords. This is lovely right off the bat. I've been wrong. I don't want to say I've been wrong before, but that statement has always been challenged at times, where the energy presents itself as very lovely, but then there's other things underneath that may feel a little bit more tumultuous. But overall, the energy itself feels very, very lovely. Here in the first week, the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles can represent somebody in your life, someone who's very supportive, someone who is very successful, someone who gives very generously because they've kind of achieved this sense of security and success within themselves. They're not afraid to give generously. They're not afraid to, whether this is their time, whether this is their financial resources, whether this is their connections, whether this is their health, their mental, emotional energy. This is someone who's very stable within themselves, someone who has invested wisely and who can invest wisely, and who has wisdom enough, who's very grounded to help and give that advice wherever necessary. This can represent you, or this can represent maybe someone in your life. This could be a partner, father figure, whatever the case may be. But on this one, Venus, on this week, Venus, the planet of love, money, and beauty, the ruler of this card, is actually going to make a conjunction, which is a very harmonious aspect, to the planet Uranus. Uranus is rebellion, innovation, revolution. It's the collective. It's the higher octave of Mercury. So this is a lot to do with the mind, a lot of thinking. And these two, it could be just this ultimate realization or this revelation about what truly brings value and stability to your life. This is going to happen right before Venus moves into the sign of Gemini. For you guys, Gemini moves into your career. It could be that you guys are receiving a message of new career, one that will allow you to step into that leadership role, one that will allow you to bring in the stability and comfort that you're truly looking for. So that's beautiful. Also in the fourth, Neptune is going to go retrograde within the sign of Aries. Neptune is the planet of illusion, dreams, spirituality, and boundless unconditional love. And it is moving It's already in the sign of Aries, but now it's going retrograde. So I feel like this is going to allow us to review and reflect on what's currently been coming up for you in that particular area. Again, Aries sits in your 12th house. So this can maybe feel, I don't want to say like a reality check, but it can feel that way. If you've been feeling like things aren't going your way, if you've been feeling like you've just inherited some really bad karmic debt, this retrograde can actually reveal the truth that that's not actually what's happening. There are other things at play here, if that makes sense. Here in the second week, we have the star. This is a major arcana. This represents feeling connected to your destiny, connected to your future. This is all about feeling connected to yourself and to the collective, something greater than yourself, right? This is also about hope and healing. This card is represented by Aquarius, and here we have a new moon in Aquarius energy. We've got a lot of purple happening here. Purple is a very healing color, which we also see being represented right here. On the 7th, we have Uranus moving into the sign of Gemini for the next 8 years. So this is a pretty prominent placement. Some of the last times that Uranus was in Gemini, a lot of things have been shaken up collectively. And I just kind of got this image that you're going to realize more of a collective purpose. If things are being shaken up collectively, your job is to root them down. Your job is to healing. Your job is to bring love to that situation. That's immediately what I started feeling. But Uranus moving into Gemini, Gemini sitting in your 10th house. Again, this is career house. So this could mean just bringing a new opportunity, a shakeup in your career sector that allows you to step into a space to bring healing to a situation, a time for healing. And maybe even just, like I said, connecting to the collective and to your faith and to hope and things like that. Here, and then on the second week, we also have a full moon happening within the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn sits in your 5th house. This is your house of creativity, your self-expression. This is your house of children. This is your house of like one-off romantic love affairs. So full moons are a buildup of energy. And when this energy begins to build up, it begins to highlight and activate things within our lives that are not working so that we can realize that these things are working and we can release them and let them go and create a space for healing. Here in the third week, we've got strength, another major arcana. This could be you stepping into a place of quiet leadership, of confident leadership. When we see the strength card, you are the lion and the lion tamer simultaneously. You can be noble and bold leadership without acting ferocious. You can do that, right? But it takes a certain level of confidence within the self to allow that to occur. On the 13th, Saturn is going to go retrograde within the sign of Aries. Again, Aries is your 8th house. This is your house of transformation, and Saturn going retrograde can having us reevaluate, or actually for you guys, it almost feels like redefining self-discipline is kind of what that feels like paired with the strength card. This is redefining your self-discipline, almost not reevaluating, but just reaffirming that the disciplinary steps you're taking when it comes to this transformation, when it comes to maybe stepping into a position of leadership, specifically around the occult themes, because 8th house rules things like the occult. When it comes to the occult themes, spirituality, like spiritual themes, being a spiritual healer, it's going to have you reaffirming what needs to be done in order for you to do that. Okay. On the 18th, Mercury is also going to go retrograde within the sign of Leo. Anytime Mercury retrograde happens, yes, it's a nuisance. We see delays in our day-to-day life. We see delays in our communication or mishaps in our communication with others. We see technological hiccups happen all the time. But we also see a lot of review and a lot of reevaluation things. A lot of ideas are coming forward again to be reevaluated and to be rethought. Okay. So this could be asking you to reevaluate. Do you want this leadership role? How do you want to be a leader for your community? How do you want to be a leader for your family? How do you want to be a leader in your life? What do you want to do? And how do you want to do it? Okay. It's kind of almost like the energy is asking you to go within and to come back to center. Here in the last week, we have a lot of energy happening this week, so stay with me. We've got the 10 of Swords. This is a finale, specifically with things that we tell ourselves, thoughts, communications, either negative self-talk, self-criticisms, anxieties, fears, and worries, things that we just tend to repeat over and over mentally. Something, you're walking away from something, you're saying goodbye to something, and you're done with it. Here on the 22nd, Leo season begins. Leo is noble, it is proud, it is confident, it is bold, it has no problem being the center of attention. So in this time with Leo season starting, it's really these themes and qualities are going to take center stage. On the 24th, the new moon is going to occur within the sign of Leo, which is going to represent that there's this new beginning that is taking place. And it may be that within the sign of Leo, this is your 12th house. So it could be that the 12th house is asking you to maybe set intentions for how you can finally maybe ease any sort of, this is definitely feels like addressing your mental health. With this being in your 8th house, this is definitely addressing things like your mental health. Okay, let's see. And this definitely feels like, yes, addressing things with your mental health overall, but this definitely feels like maybe seeing the truth of subconscious tendencies, maybe seeing the truth of fears or thoughts or stories that you tell yourself that have been driving a certain narrative, right? This is a time for healing to your own situation as well as to the collective. And it may mean that as you go through this process, you're meant to share that with others. You're meant to share that and to be open and vulnerable about it, right? What else does Virgo? The 9 of Cups in reverse. And the Fool. So this could be that the King of Pentacles, I said that you may be getting, because Gemini sits in your 10th house, you may be getting an offer of like maybe a new job, new career path. And it's going to bring a lot of stability. It's going to bring a lot of comfort. It's going to bring all of the things that are necessary to maybe ease the material world stresses that we can all feel. But with the 9 of Cups in reverse, it may still not be what you want. You're like, this is not what I wanted. I didn't want to do this. But this new opportunity presented with the Fool is a brand new path. I think if this is the case for you, you may very well be surprised at how prosperous it actually turns out to be. I think I would give it a shot with the King of Pentacles and the Fool direct here around your 10th house. If you are receiving a new opportunity, like there's a new opportunity here for you to branch out, whether that's receiving a new job or career path, for you to actually surprise yourself. maybe bring love into the situation and be like, you know what? Let me try it. Let me see where this goes. Let me see what I can do with this. Let me see what I can bring to the table, right? Because that's what the King of Pentacles does. He looks at something, says, okay, this has its pluses, it's got its minuses, but let's see what I can do with it. Let's see let's see what kind of stability and structure can I bring to this? Okay. And again, especially with the Fool here, there's an opportunity for a new path. There's an opportunity for a new beginning right here. Take that leap of faith, and whatever comes up for you, take it. Here in the second week, the Star, the Two of Cups in reverse, needing to really reevaluate and realign your heart and your mind and your values, like your mind and your heart, making sure that what you believe and what you feel to be true are in alignment, right? This can also be a time of healing after maybe experiencing rejection. The Two of Cups in reverse can represent rejection. This can be a time of healing where two people are not in alignment. This person may not be meant for you at this point in time. Does not mean that they can't be meant for you in the future. Just right now, the two of you are on two different pages. Okay. But overall, this is about experiencing a need to realign with what is true for you, with what is actually your future and your destiny. The Four of Cups. Try not to sink into a space of apathy. Give gratitude for where you are, especially, and that can be challenging when we feel like things aren't in alignment with what we need. It can be challenging when things aren't necessarily going the way we want them to go. But with the Four of Cups, there's a gift here. There's a gift that can be found if we take the time to truly look for it. So with this second week, specifically maybe around, I genuinely feel like for most of us, Uranus moving into Gemini is actually going to be a much larger shift than what we believe, but we will see it more on a collective scale. So individually, the full moon is going to be felt as well, but that 3-day span between Uranus moving into Gemini and the full moon, there's going to be this buildup, right? So try not to sink into a place of apathy or boredom, and just recognize that this time, any feelings of rejection or misalignment is actually a moment for you to reconnect with yourself, reconnect to your values, and reconnect to your future and to your destiny, to your purpose. Okay. Here in the third week, Strength, and then Strength in reverse. So you need to conquer that ego, conquer those fears, and conquer that self-doubt. And the Six of Cups, this fear and this self-doubt is coming from the past. It's coming from memories of the past. It could be coming from childhood. It could be resurfacing, things that are resurfacing that a loved one has said, is kind of what this feels like. Either way, like something is bubbling up from the past that is triggering the ego. It's triggering this self-doubt, and you are meant to conquer that. You are meant to tame that lion, because that lion is you. So you are meant to tame anything that comes up from the past. You are the one that is meant to tame that, and you are the one who is meant to heal that. Only you can do that this month. Okay. So here in this third week, with Mercury retrograde and Saturn retrograde, things are going to be coming back to the surface. Thoughts, situations, people are all going to be coming back, and whatever emotions they bring with them are meant to be addressed, meant to be conquered, and meant to be healed. Here in the last week, the Ten of Swords, The Sun, walking away is going to bring you the most happiness. Walking away from either a relationship, because if this is a relationship, this person could be very stable. Maybe they have a good job and maybe they are very kind and generous, but there's something about the connection that is not making you happy, and you're being presented with a new opportunity, a new path to focus on your own healing, maybe away from the relationship, right? Again, the Two of Cups in reverse. Relationship wise, the person is just not in alignment with you, and that's okay. Doesn't mean that there is inherently anything wrong with you or inherently anything wrong with them. You're just not in the same place energetically. Okay. And so the energy is not in alignment. All right. It could be that someone from the past is coming back and is creating and initiating this doubt. If you choose to walk away from a relationship, someone else could come back. That person could come back and try to reignite things. You are meant to stand in your strength, stand in your confidence, and be like, no. Because here in the last week, finally, truly walking away from something is going to bring you the happiness here with the Sun card and the Three of Wands. Allowing yourself to stand in this place of peace and exploration to see what happens after you truly step into your own happiness, after you truly step into a place of compassion and be like, look, this is not meant for me. I do not have to engage in this just because I feel obligated to or because I think I have to. I don't have to do that. I actually have more power here than what I originally thought. So the new moon in Leo is asking you to say goodbye, to address the subconscious tendencies that are kind of driving this fear, that are driving this self-doubt, that could be driving you to stay complacent in a career or a relationship that is not suitable for you. Okay? So let's see. Let's see here. 0 fucks given. I always think it's so odd when this card comes out, especially in like a reading that actually really involves like healing. There's like this, and it's just simply saying like, stop putting so much focus on, maybe stop putting so much focus on your comfort. Stop putting so much focus into your comfort zone. And maybe step onto this new path, because with the Nine of Cups, traditionally, the Nine of Cups, you see a person sitting on a bench and they look very content with where they are. But eventually that bench is going to get uncomfortable. That bench is going to get bored here with the Four of Cups. That bench is no longer, I mean, imagine, would you allow yourself to sit on a bench just like the person in the Four of Cups does for hours on end? Probably not. Eventually you're going to get uncomfortable, you're going to get bored with it, and you're going to want to get up. And that could be what this Nine of Cups is saying. Like, you've reached this moment of stability and comfort, whether that's in a relationship or in your career, but you're not happy. You're not content with that anymore. So now it is time for you to strive for something bigger, strive for something better. Okay. And you need to take this. There's a new path being presented here with the Fool. Again, being presented with potentially a new career opportunity. Do not give a damn about what anyone else has to say about it. This is about you and your healing. Let's see, the second week, trust your intuition. Connect to yourself. Realign your values and your beliefs. And trust your intuition, because there's a message that's trying to be delivered to you here in this second week with the Four of Cups, and then now trust your intuition. There's a message that is trying to be delivered to you. But if you're so focused on this feeling of rejection, if you're so focused on this unhappiness or this boredom or frustration, you're going to completely miss out on it. And that would be a real bummer. Okay? If you can hear that door slamming, I really apologize. That's my 5-year-old. So we're almost done, I promise. Here in the second week, the journey, you overcoming this doubt, you overcoming this fear, this worry, this anxiety, this ego that's chiming in, these you overcoming these challenges and feelings from the past is all a part of your journey. You are meant to heal this. So whatever it is, whatever Mercury retrograde and Saturn retrograde is digging up, I keep doing this almost like one of those excavators, whatever it's digging up, you're meant to find, because it is part of your journey. And this is part of the path that you are meant to go down. And then here in the last week, sacrifices. The Ten of Swords. What sacrifices need to be made so that you can be happy and so that you can move forward, so that you can strive for better? What sacrifices need to be made? If you're not happy in your career and you're presented with a new path, go for it. 100% go for it. If you are not satisfied within the context of your relationship and you genuinely feel like it is time for you to move on, do so with love and compassion to yourself and the other person. But a sacrifice needs to be made. A change definitely needs to be made for you guys in order for you to truly move forward to where you're meant to go. So I truly, truly love this. Something I want to point out, just because I was thinking about it. Here, it's this like long, luscious, thick hair. You see it again here in this strength card, luscious, thick hair. And then you see it again here, like long hair. I don't know what long hair means to you, but it's definitely something here in the third week with this long hair. And that stood out to me. And so I felt the need to point that out. Whatever that is. Okay. But I truly hope this helped. I hope you guys have an incredible month. I apologize for the interruptions, and we will see you next time.